Internet went out. And it's a pain in the rear. And I'm getting my tablet back up so I have bake in my ear. Okay. So what happened was one of my dogs went behind the couch and pulled the power cord out. And that's what happened on my power for my internet connection. See here, I'm just trying to get connected back to this real quick. Bake, if you can, pull me into Discord. Here we go. Sorry about that, guys. My internet went out again. The dog just pulled the power cord out from behind the couch. Alright, here we go. Internet problems, gotta love them. Alright. So, this guy's getting dry, and we are working on this one here. It's still drying. So, the next thing I need to do is I need to mix my paint. So, this is wall flesh. Okay, this is going to be the next layer. Even though it's a base coat, it's going to be the next layer on this Space Marine. So, right now, I have two ways to mix paint. I'm working on right here. We've got, and I'm going to show you some tools tonight. That's one of the things we're talking about. One is this. This is a nail polish shaker. I hate it. It's noisy and it doesn't really mix it very well. It's not the paint mixer I want, and yes, I've had many of a paint mixer. The one I want is one of the Vortex ones, but currently it's a little bit out of my price range. So, the other one is this. This literally is a cheap Dremel from Harbor Freight and Tool. This is a bent airbrush needle. What I do, a little dangerous, is I take a piece of paper towel and let's see here. It's just a small corner of paper towel like this. Take this out. Don't really need to shake it. But I just shove this in here, like this. And I put a little bit of paper towel around the tip. And this is all I have to do. That's it. It's mixed. It's done. Because that spins so fast in there, it just mixes that paint up like crazy. It's insane. But I don't like it because it's noisy as well, but not as noisy as the other one. And so you'll see how it's gonna look how creamy that comes out as. Because it's just mixing the paint. It's a little messier than other paint shakers, but hey, it works. Let's see here. Let me make sure. Can you, Bake, can you hear me? Making sure he can hear me. Okay, just making sure. Alright. Now, so what we're going to do is we're going to let him dry just a little bit more. And I was going to talk about airbrushes for a second as well. So, airbrushing has become really popular in miniature painting. Mainly because it puts down that top coat really well, or that base coat. You can do lots of really cool highlights with them. A lot of people spend high dollar on airbrushes. Currently, on average, let's see here, the Iwata Eclipses, Badger Patriots are about the range you want for a lot of miniature stuff, is what everybody says. I have a Master. This is a Master, I think G223 Pro. This is a cheap Chinese airbrush. It's kind of a knockoff. It's not a one-for-one knockoff, but it's kind of a knockoff on Iwata Neo, which is actually made in China as well. These airbrushes are not bad for miniature painting. So I'm going to take it apart for you real quick. So this is where the paint goes. If you see, I got a little bit of red still in there from where I airbrushed that. And that's just really mainly water right there. How I normally get that out, that little residue, is just put a paper towel in there and flip it over, and it gets some of the red out. So the different parts. This is a okay. So let me show you this real quick. So this right here, when you turn it, goes in. If you see how it's getting closer here to that chuck, what that does is stops this from going back further. So I can set the maximum amount of paint. Pushing it back is how much paint you have coming out. And so if I pull this back even more, I can push it back further. Now pushing this down is your air pressure. So the I've done some mods to this, just two really. The main mod was the spring in here that controls this right here. I replaced it, and how I did that was I took the spring out of a ballpoint pen, the click top, and I just swapped it out. It was stiffer, and the other spring was really mushy and didn't have any power behind it at all. Actually, I guess I did 3 mods, but now this is the chuck. You loosen it to pull your needle out. So the other thing I did is, my needle's kind of dirty at the moment. So you can see how shiny this is. These Chinese airbrushes, usually this is really dull, and the reason why is they don't polish it like the higher end airbrushes. That's what sets these airbrushes apart. Whether or not this needle is straight and polished, and whether or not your needle lines up in your hole. Okay, so what I did for this is I actually put this in that Dremel, but I held it on this end here, and I have these polishing papers for resin called Zona papers, and you go through different grits, and I polished it, to where it's really smooth. It's no longer abrasive. I'll show you what a cheap one looks like here. So I'm gonna put this back in. So you just push your needle down, push this in, and you tighten your chuck back up. You can put this back on here. I'll show you what a crappy looking unpolished one looks like. This one's bent. It's the one I used to clear out stuck paint. So I thought this on a D20, if I can get it off. I had it off earlier today. It's not coming out. Well, that sucks. Well, I'm not going to show you the two. But it's really a dull metal. It's not shiny at all. The next thing about an airbrush is this is a guard. So a lot of guys paint without this, but this protects the tip of your needle if you drop it. I've dropped this before, and you see how the needle's actually sticking out right there. So the way this works, and I'll take this off as well. This is important. This is probably one of the most important parts of your airbrush right here. But so if you see your needle comes out of this little area here, I don't know. Let me see. I'll put a white background on it here. So I just retracted the needle. So that's your tip. So usually when you get a tip, you can get a needle and tip combo together. I think this is 0.3 millimeters. So your paint actually comes out of that very tiny hole. This is why you have to thin your airbrush paints down, or have a airbrush ready paint. Chunky paint will actually clog that quicker than anything. So that's what comes out of there. Now this area around this is where the air comes out. So the way this works is the air comes out here, and it pulls, it creates a suction, and it pulls it out of the tip. And the smoother your needle is after you polish it, the easier it comes, the less spitting. It doesn't build up paint, and it doesn't spit. Now another thing that I did to this was I had a piece of metal overhang on my nozzle here, and it was overhanging on the hole and causing my spray to go off a little bit funky. So I used an old needle and I pushed it out, and then I sanded that off, and then I used those same Zona papers and I polished that side of it up again. So, and this is a I think this airbrush retails for $40 new, with 3 needles. So in the you can tell that the it still doesn't really line up that great, but that's mainly because I've got my gasket is wearing out. So what I'll end up doing to fix that once I replace that gasket is I won't put a new gasket there. A lot of older guys that airbrush do this because those gaskets wear out really quick, and especially if you use cleanser on it. Is I'll take and line this with a little bit of beeswax, and then I'll screw it on, and then what I'll end up doing is taking a lighter to it, this end, and just melting the beeswax in there, and it makes a pretty good seal, and you really don't have nothing to worry about. Now when I clean this, what I do is I take the needle out, and I then just throw everything into my ultrasonic and let my ultrasonic, and it's full of LED Awesome, and that just cleans it up really good. So that is my tools for the day. Alright, now this guy's dry. So this next step, per GW, take your brush. This is a dry brush. Rub it in real good. Alright, anyway. So you want to get it a little dry. And they want you to start dry brushing it. Seriously, that's what they want you to do. And it's a lighter color. This is Waff Flesh. This is a lighter color than the other one. I'm not sure if it picks up well on the camera. That was a little wet still. Okay. And what this does is still leaves that shade in the recesses, but it lightens the panels up. And this is the quick way to paint this. And we'll go over the slow way on the next miniature. Okay. We're still letting that other miniature dry. So you notice I use my thumb here, and what I'm doing is making sure I get all the excess moisture out a little bit. Okay. And what we're trying to do is just pick the flat panels off and the edges. And oh yeah, I got a really cool tooltip. Not a tooltip, but a hack. And y'all like this. If you ever do edge highlighting, okay, over the backpack as well. Okay, let's make sure we pick out them fingers. All right. Let me dry them off. So this is pretty much their tip to do. That's how you do it. That lightened it up pretty considerably. And then you would have to do a few other things to get it tabletop ready, and we'll do that as well here. I'm going to let this Eldar set a little bit longer. So next thing I do is get black. We're going to have a Baden black. And sorry, I'm getting colors, guys. Well, I'm missing color. Can't find it. Let's see here. Yeah, that'll work. Evil Sun Scarlet. Alright. And yes, it's really good color. Okay, now Abaddon Black, I never really have to run that through the device, but these reds, you really want to run them through. And I'm gonna go ahead and pre-mix this up real quick. And actually, I need a blue. Crap, just thinking of all the stuff I need. All right, so I'm gonna. There it is. You gotta make sure you get the needle clean so it doesn't mix paints together. So these things are expensive if you think about it, per milliliter. I think the next most expensive thing in the world is Scorpion. Dude. Cray, Cowbar. I thought I had Cantor Blue. Yeah, that is. Work. I'll need Ceramite White, which always okay. I'm gonna show you this. So this is separation right here. You've got your paint, and you've got this liquid right here. I don't know if you can see it moving around. So I will use the shaker on that here in a minute, or the mixer here in a minute. I won't really need it on the Cantor Blue because it's a fairly thin paint. Okay, now I got my character brush. These are Regiment Element Games brushes. These are Kalinsky Sable. So these are I love these brushes. These are my favorites. Let's see here. I need my black. So this is the part I hate about painting Space Marines. Oh, the black. It's where you paint all the joints in any tubes in it. So it's because I always mess up. Somehow I mess up. Okay. So some. Let's see here. Has there been any questions? Oh, I know. There's really crazy angles here. So there's a belt here. I normally would paint that black, but I'm not going to. Get this little hose here. Get it right here. When you get too much on there, you gotta get it off somehow. Okay, let's see here. There's another hose right here. So this isn't a higher end model. This is a box model. I think this came out with 6th edition. I can't remember. Because you can tell, like they cut corners like right here. That's like solid plastic. So I usually like painting the vents here. Put some black in the vents. The hole inside there, right here as well. Okay, all right, and then the vent, his mouth vent. Now some people use washes just to let them set in there. But I don't know what it is. I've always liked painting that mouth vent. Okay. That's all I'm going to paint black for right now. Now, see here, he's still a little wet. So, take the Cantor Blue. Put a drop right there. Okay. Then what we're going to do is, he's got a plasma gun here. So I could be a little messy with this because I'm going to clean up with it here in a minute. So we're going to paint the coils blue. Okay, I'll get the coils on the back. Okay. See, that's what happens when you hit your microphone. So it's easy to fix though. It's still wet. I had to fix that shoulder pad some. Okay. But it happens. Okay. So now what we're going to do. Oh, this was that white I used for the helmet. Label's gone though. Now remember this. That's what that looks like. Make a mess. Also, this is almost out. Okay. Clean that needle off. One day I'll have one of those sweet vortex mixers. Alright, so if you look here, it's gone. It comes out fairly creamy. Actually, I should have put it over here, because we're going to use that here in a second. Okay, so what we're doing next is we're going to take a little bit of this blue, a little bit of this white, a bit more blue. Okay, let's blend it up. Okay, so let's do that. Okay, so carefully, I'm going to come in here. Each of these rises, if I can see them, there's the edges on these coils. So get out the reading glasses, the double reading glasses, guys. This is where I'm at with my vision nowadays. So we're going to come in here, each line. Okay. Do the same thing on the top. I'm going to move this microphone out of my way. I'm going to get my hair out of y'all's shot here. Okay. Okay. We can make this look good. Come on. Come on. And I'm not even worried about the back. We're just raking across the back here a little bit. Because I can't get to it. Get to that. Yeah, don't kill yourself to get a certain area painted. So you can see it a little bit there. The lines. So then when I come in here and get a little bit more of this, light it up a little bit more. And then we're going to make our strokes a little bit shorter. Okay. So, I have an uncle who just moved in with my mom. He's what's the best word for this? He's paralyzed from the waist down. He had a bicycle accident and caused some issues on his back. And as a kid, we'd always work models together. And so I went fishing with my mom. Actually, let's just go straight white now. Went fishing with my mom Saturday, and she's like, I need to run by the Hobby Lobby. That's how she says it, the Hobby Lobby. And I was like, well, why? She's like, well, your uncle wants a model car. I was like, what? So we went in there, and I helped her get some supplies because she didn't know what to get. And then I went in there and talked to him a little bit about what I got him because he's not used to all the stuff I'm used to, and I explained it to him. This is how this works. This is how this works. So, yeah, I showed him some of the stuff I've been working on. Introduced him to the thin set paint or thin set cement from Tamiya. Let's see here. My Bluetooth keeps disconnecting on me. Alright, then we come in here with straight white and we just do the corners. Now there's a way to do this with the airbrush as well, but you got to have the gun off of the marine to do it, because you'll get it all over the marine. And this isn't perfect, but makes it look like the coils are powering up. I'm not perfect with this, guys. Let's see here. And my hair is in the way. I got the big floofy hair. Got a little bit more white hair. But yeah, I mean, it gives it an effect, but with the airbrush, you can do lots of cool stuff with it too. If I could find one without the airbrush, I mean, without it being connected to a marine, I'll show y'all how to do that. Alright, next. He's getting dry. Okay. Now we're going to take this Evil Sun Scarlet, and what I'm going to do now is put a little bit here, drop my paintbrush. The next fun part is the lenses, the eyes. So, sorry. Need to put on a ball cap. Hold on. I need a haircut. That's what I need. Don't eat blood, guys. You might have to do this in a couple passes, because where you're barely putting any paint on the brush, it dries out fairly quick. So there we go. Okay, now take a touch of white. Put a little bit. Nope. Take it up to a pink. Straight white. So what we're doing is putting lens. There's like a lens flare on their lenses. You kind of like build up to it if you can do it. Okay. It's not like pupils, it's just how the light glints in their lenses. And then I get a little bit more of this raw flesh on my brush. And then I come in here at the bottom of the eyes. Just put a little bit right there. Just to go around the eyes a little bit. Make it stand out. Make it look like it's cleaned up some. Now, here's what you do. This red as well. You come in here and start painting this. Plasma gun red. You don't want the whole thing, you just want the casing red. So in second edition, I went back to my editions and I was trying to remember which edition I started out with. In second edition, 40K, this is the one I started out with. It was the box set that came with the Marines and the Orcs. And I always loved how they explained how a heavy plasma gun shoots. Like a plasma gun will shoot just like a ball of light, concentrated light, like a laser, but it's just more solid, I guess, at the target. But a heavy plasma gun said imagine a small sun slowly traveling across, or not slowly, but traveling across the field and burning everything in its directions. That a heavy plasma gun was also sometimes called a sun gun because it created a sun across the battlefield. And they said that in the models, the way you can represent that was to take a cotton ball and paint it yellow, and just to mess with people. Like, I've shot this over in this general direction. But you notice that in 40K, you don't use a lot of fire effects like you would in historical gaming. Usually, they just take it off the table and be like, "All right, I'm done. He's dead." They don't leave it. They don't bring out like stuff that looks like it's on fire and things. So that's the first coat of that. We're gonna let that dry. Okay. Now we get to the Eldar. So we take this lighter shade of red, this Evil Sun Scarlet. Now this is how they explain to do this, and we probably won't be able to do this entire model tonight. This is going to be taking a hot minute. So this is the layer. When we talk about, they do base coat, washes, then layers. So you come in here and you paint over everything, but don't go all the way up to the edge. Like this. See how it's standing out? Oh crap, I messed up. It's alright. So these gems, when I used to paint Eldars in high school, I made sure I painted each and every one of them in a metallic gem-like color. Now, if this had been the Army Painter method, what I would have done is I would have started out with the Evil Sun Scarlet instead of the Mephistion Red. And then I would have washed everything in the red, and it would have brought it down to Mephistion Red color. And I would have been, I'm done. Just did it. That's how you do it. It's the Army Painter method. But this is the Citadel method. So I've got to get back behind this. You can't see very well. Okay. I'm kind of exaggerating the gaps. I'm leaving more gaps than I normally would. Just to show y'all. Now what we'll do is I'm going to paint this leg this way. And we'll try the dry brushing technique on the other leg. And see if it does any quicker or any better. So this is all about experimenting. So that's what we're doing. But let's get this section done here. And if the dry brushing works fairly quickly, we can switch over to that for the entire model while the other one dries. Okay. So let's let this sit for a second. I want to show you something cool. Okay, so raise your hand if you like edge highlighting your models. Edge highlighting, dry brushing is kind of replaced edge highlighting. Okay, edge highlighting. If you ever look at 40K, the heavy metal standard, you have what's called edge highlighting. They use it incredibly all the time. So I'm going to teach you the cheap, easy way to do it. These are watercolor pencils. Okay. So these are not the color green. I got these to do those not haunts with. Actually, I'll show you. Here's the big bad guy. Right. You see all this edge highlighting around his eyes and around his capes and stuff like that. That was done with these pencils. So you don't see a lot of edge highlighting outside of 40K, but I figured using a light color like this would help exaggerate. So I'm actually going to start with gray. So on one side, these are going to be dry. So I'm on this side, I'm going to do it with the dry side. See what I just did there? We now have an edge highlight. Go over there. Another edge highlight. Look at that. Now, so look at there. Let's go over the knee pad. Right? So these are softer than colored pencils. Now I do have coloring pencils around here somewhere. We can do the same thing with coloring pencils if they're wet. Now if this is wet, let's check this out. Just dip it in water just a little bit. It comes out a little brighter. So you have to turn it right to do it. But watch, we'll do this right there. See how much brighter it is than the other highlights? Now, we can come back with the light right here, and we can make our edge highlight a little bit shorter, but brighter with the white around the corners. Now, I'll tell you how I used to do this as a kid. When I first started painting 40K. So the white is now at the corners of that, and we could do it here at the knee pad as well, and put it at the top, because we always want the brightest at the top. See, I kind of messed the knee pad up a little bit. But that is an easy, cheap way to edge highlight really quick. But, let's see. Let me grab my coloring pencils real quick. If I can find them. Are they up here? Where are they at? Oh, there they are. Yes, I have coloring pencils. And the reason being is I play Dungeon Crawl Classics. And that book is like a giant coloring book. Oh, I love that book. We'll sit there playing and I'll be coloring while we play. So I got coloring pencils. A few. So let's grab, let's see here. That's a dark green. Do we got a light green? Yeah, here's a light green. So the only problem with coloring pencils, and these are rose art or something like crazy art, is you gotta get them really wet. So we'll just set it here for a second. Let it soak in a little bit of water. Now we're going to use this and we're going to try it right here. See what we just did there? It's a little messier though. So let's take a little bit of this off. Okay, we're going to try it over the fingers. Look at that. Oh my gosh. Almost like base coat and wash it. You can just do it all with coloring pencil. So this whole set of coloring pencils is like 100 coloring pencils. You can get it at Walmart for like $8. And then You can get a set of Crayola. So these two pencils here were $3. These two watercolor pencils because they're higher end. You can get a set of Crayolas for $5 that has everything but gray and white in it. So, or has the basic colors, but I don't think it has white in it. So I think I'll get those next just to play around with. But yeah. So that's the cheap and easy way to edge hot. Now here's how I used to do it. So as a kid, I saw, wow, man, these guys are doing this edge highlighting thing. It looks pretty cool. So I would take my miniature, paint it, or primer it, base coat it with a light color, go in and paint it, and then rub the edges with my fingers, and rub the top layer of paint down to the next layer of paint. That's how I learned how to do it. I cheated a lot. I've been waiting since Saturday to show you guys this trick. I've been so excited about this. Like, oh my gosh, these guys are going to love this. It's going to be amazing. Anyway, the cheap and dirty way of doing it. Alright, so now we're going to try the dry brush method on the other leg. So we're going to get a little bit of this paint in here. We're going to rub it in my brush. I'm going to paint my hand. So we're going to do this other leg. So now, I will tell you guys, I did set up a Patreon and a Facebook page. So, the first tier of the Patreon, and y'all don't have to do this if you don't want to. It's just something that would help me out just to get supplies and stuff. Like, for example, I spent like $20 on the wash project, and you know, the other stuff was only $3 for this week's tip. So this is coming out pretty good. Not as smooth. It's not as smooth as painting it on. So, and I still can fix up some of this right here. But we'll do this real quick, because I'm going to try some other tricks with this here in a minute. But my key to my painting style is just to get it on the table as quickly as possible. So you'll see that I take a lot of hacks and stuff, and I try to make my own supplies and things like that. But yeah, it's just to help me out. But my first layer of the Patreon, just to help me out and get access to my, it's like $3 a month. Get access to a Discord channel that I'm usually going to be in all the time. You can ask me questions and stuff. Then the next tier, you get early access to some of my recipes for any mixes I do. I'm going to be making contrast medium probably on the next one. And then, so if you want to get, if you get early access, then you can ask me questions while you're making it and I'm making it at the same time. Or questions while I'm making it on the screen. And then I do have an insane one. It's just $30 a month. And that gives you an hour uninterrupted time with me through video chat, helping each other with our paints, going through stuff, teaching and things like that the best we can through video chat. And if you live local to me, I will drive to your house and we will work on models together for an hour. I know nobody will do the $30 a month, but it's just interesting just to have it there. And right now I haven't put a lot on the Patreon page because I just got it set up this week. And I've started posting pictures on the Facebook page. And I do have my own Discord channel. It's Haunted Holler Painting. I'm going to start doing more off of Wednesday nights. I'm looking at doing some on Friday nights starting in July on my own or with other people. And then I'm going to be doing another night for Troll Lords as well. So once we get that going up and stuff. Let's see here. Come on. See, this is the only thing about dry brushing this color is that it's so translucent is it takes a few coats to do it. It's the only bad part. Let's see here. My oldest dog is trying to get into the bedroom. He lays on my bed all the time. Plus, it's a good chance for him to get away from the young dog. I will warn you guys, tonight I'm hurting a little bit. Went for a run. I'm starting to run again, where I've been losing all my weight. So I've started practicing for a marathon. And I'm sore. My back's hurting. So once I'm done here, I'm going to go take my medicine and go to lay down. Something me and my wife are doing. I want to run a half marathon. I've run 5Ks. I want to run a half marathon. If I can, I'm going to run the one down in Nashville, the music half marathon, or whatever it's called, and go see my brother, and then go see my buddy, the Geek Preacher. He lives down there. It's a little wet. If it comes across wet, then you've put a little bit too much paint on there. Okay. Show you something else. What was it? I'll remember here in a minute. Oh yeah. So this is just standard dry brushing. So I'll show you something that's kind of interesting that Citadel made, and it'll help out a little bit here. I got it red. I don't think I do though. So let's let this sit for a second. Let's switch back over to my Marine, because I want to put another coat on his gun. If y'all have any questions, man, just shoot them off in chat. I know, you're sitting there with your minds blown. He's like, what? He just did that with a coloring pencil. Oh my gosh. Now I can go win some competitions with coloring pencils. Alright, so I'm probably going to end up painting the front end of this lead belcher, the bottom lead belcher, and this lead belcher, and put some black right there in the end on that. So I've got a whole bunch of standard Space Marines for Dark Angels. I got like enough to field probably 30,000 points, and then they came out with the Primaris a few years back, and then they're worthless. Alright, let's see here. Show you all some coolness. I'm still learning how to use these. But, I mean, gosh, these colors are amazing. Hold on. So, the thing about Citadel is, okay, so this hobby is an illicit hobby, as I like to call it. Oh yeah, I do got red. Sweet. Okay, so this hobby, I'm gonna say this, and it's gonna sound really bad, and it's not meant to be this way. This hobby is meant for or is not meant, but is a hobby that's usually people that have disposable time and disposable income. Okay. And in doing so, if you don't have disposable income and you don't have the time, like if you have to work all the time and your home environment doesn't help, you can't do these games. And so I'm kind of privileged being who I am, and having the money that I have to do this, to play these games and to learn this hobby, because I do have free time to do this and other people aren't. That being said, Citadel is trying to make it to where everybody can do it, which is good. They're trying to make it easy. So what I've been doing here is dry brushing with a lighter colored paint. Well, they make these things here called dry paints. Okay. And these are actually dry brush paints. Let's see the colors. They've literally got my favorite color, and this right here. This Cronus blue. Look at this. Ah, look at that blue. And yes, it looks like dried up paint. And sometimes I think that they just took dried up Citadel paint and relabeled it. But I'll show you what it does. Let's see here. We got this Asherath red. Now, I know this is going to look a little funky, but this thickness right here, I'm going to put a little bit, let's dry off my brush. Get a little bit here. I'm going to put it right there on the paper. It's really just thick paint with the least amount of moisture as possible. So we're going to rub it into my brush, and we're going to come in. We're going to start hitting the edges with this. I'm going to need to put another rubber band on this guy. But it's pretty much the same thing. It's just they're really dry, so you don't have to rub them out as much. And they're designed to go with certain colors as an end highlight color. So people, this is the thing, they're making it simple for people. Like the contrast paint was their ultimate thing to make it simple and easy for people to get into the hobby. Because contrast paints are meant for beginners, but you can use them really cool in an airbrush. And I'll show you something really cool too. I don't know if I've talked about this before. Reaper has a contrast paint. Yeah. I'll show you here in a second. It's not really a contrast paint though. They don't call it a contrast. See, I've gotten some red around the bottom of the face here. So, alright, let's just put that on there. So I don't know if you can tell it because we've already been doing some lighter reds on there, but it does look a little bit lighter off camera. Let me put these up. And I'll show you this Reaper paint. So, the premise of a contrast is a heavy pigmented wash. And so the point of a wash is to go into the crevices of the model. So Reaper probably, I want to say 10 years ago, created a line of paints called liners. Right here it is. Master Series gray liner. They only have 6 colors. They only have 3 of them. We've got brown liner and blue liner. Okay. So we're going to take the brown liner. Let's see here. I've got a model over here. Alright, we're not going to do the whole model, but we're going to take the brown liner, just give it a good shake. You'll notice it's really liquidy when it comes out. So, now this is on straight plastic too, because this is a Reaper model and it's supposed to work. Okay, so we're going to come in here, start putting that on. It's a little thicker than normal, or a little thicker than the contrast paints, but you'll notice is it's starting to pull down like the Citadel contrast does. It stains just like the Citadel contrast does. What was that one? That was the brown liner. So let's see here. Let's put a little bit more up here. Now it could be a little bit more fluid. We'll just add a drop of water to it. There we go. And the colors aren't as bright, but the concept is they work the same. Now, this is what they were designed for though. I'll show you. Let me dry my brush out. We'll switch over to my other brush. So we take a little bit of this on my brush. And we got a line right here. It was essentially designed to do pen washing, which is just a wash in a very small crevice. So Alright, here's some crevice here. But that's what it was designed to do, is a pen wash. But they behave like the Citadel paints. So, and this has been around for a while, so it's not new tech. But I like it. I use them from time to time. Listen, I'm talking about everything in the world today. I'm just all over the place. Sorry, cracking that back. Okay, let's give our Marine some more love and attention. I want to paint a dragon, by the way. And I'm going to paint a dragon maybe next week or the week after. We'll see. Yeah. So, something we could use in Castles and Crusades. I'm actually trying to get a model designed. I'm trying to do it myself for a creature that Stephen Chenault created. A little bit red there. Okay, now we're going to need some Ushanti bone. It's the next color that I need after lead belcher for that guy. I don't like lead belcher though. It's so thick and clunky. Crap. You'd think at this point I would learn to go ahead and get my paints out. Oh, I got a kid yelling, guys. Just don't pay any attention. She's 14. She's insane. Alright. And I'm not saying all 14-year-old girls are insane. Just mine is. Okay, so let's see here. We're going to go ahead and put this here. Put some in there. Oh darn. Oh yeah, I drill out my gun barrels too, by the way, guys. If you don't do that, you're not cool. Make sure we're in frame here. Who else in chat right now, Bake? Stain. What are you doing? Oh, he's painting miniatures with us. Got some on it. So the app that I'm using in the training program for the marathon running is called Zombie Run, and it's like gives you a story that you're actually going to be a runner at this encampment to run for supplies and stuff, and your job is to run from the zombies while you go collect supplies. It's pretty interesting. It's got a narrative to it. The first narrative, of course, is free. Probably get bored of that one as soon as I complete it, and I'll end up having to buy the next narrative if I want to get ready for a marathon. Hey, Wayne. Yeah, okay. It's not pretty at the moment, but that's what they make washes for. Washes fix everything. Alright. Alright, let's do some black. I need some black right here on this grenade. You always paint the grenades black. I don't think I have any shanty bone. I need leather. Ugh. I don't want to get my leather out. It makes me sad. Oh. Nope. Okay. You shanty bone. I'm gonna use something else. Great tooth. That'll work. Okay. So let's see what this looks like before I squirt it out. Before I mix it. It's actually coming out pretty good. Okay, this one's good. This is called Drake Tooth by Army Painter. It's like an ivory, dark ivory. So I know that kills you guys when I do that. So we're gonna mix a little water with this. It's always good to thin them paints down, especially the Army Painter paints. They do come out fairly thick. You don't want to thin them down too much. So what we're gonna do next is get a lot of this off my brush. Is we're gonna come in here and do his shoulder pad. We're gonna take multiple coats. We'll also come in here and do the chest as well. Try not to get any everywhere else. Normally, I would do a lot of this work before I put the miniature together. But these guys need to get played some. Did you see what I just did? It's my extreme edge highlighting. It's my extreme edge highlighting. Okay. But that could be fixed. None of it got none. We're good. A little bit more of this right here. See, that second coat always just brings it out. So I've been thinking about trying the Scale 75 paints. They're supposed to be some of the flattest paints that you can get. Like, they are so dull. Okay. Okay, there we go. Looks good for that coat. Let's try to get a little bit more of this crest down here. You can't get a lot to it because it's all behind this gun. Sorry, it's out of frame, guys. I'm sorry. Okay, I can't remember what his insignia on his right shoulder is supposed to look at, so I'm going to go ahead and do one coat of this. Then I'm going to use this as a base coat, and then I'm going to put red on it. Wonder if these guys have any trim colors around their shoulder pads. Ooh, it looks bad. Go. Okay. So let's do this here. That's kind of inked up a little bit. Let's fix this. Okay. That looks good for a base coat. Let's do this again on the shoulder pad here. Mainly on the flat areas. Gosh. Keep this right here. Get this focus going on a little bit better. Okay, alright. Let's let that sit for a minute. Crack the back some. Alright. Let's go back to our wonderful Eldar. I don't remember what color his gun is supposed to be, but I'm not going to paint that right now anyway. So I'm going to go back to my dry brushing. That he's a little bit dry on his other stuff. Or like wet brushing. Do y'all want to learn how to wet blend? Do y'all know what that is? Alright. Yeah, I think we might be able to pull it off next week. Well, what we'll do is if I can get the plastic card, I'll show y'all how to wet blend on card, and then we will move it over to a shoulder pad or something, or muscles. Like that. Okay. Now, I'm going to cheat here in a second. Alright, so let's see here. I need some black. So, areas that I'm going to paint black. Underneath his helmet, it's got these ridges. So I'm going to paint that black. Let me get a little bit of water on this. Chunky black. So I don't know if you see those ridges underneath his helmet here. And crap on a coconut. Alright. I have to fix that. So I'm going to try something, and I could possibly ruin the model, or it could look really good. We're going to take some black Templar from the contrast line. And we're going to see how this looks. So I'm going to put a little bit on my shade brush, because you want to use a shade brush for this, because again, this is something you want to keep it wet So I'm going to paint this hose with it. See how it looks, because I know the red's going to show through. But these are my Eldar, and they can look however I want them to look. Mainly this is good. Where'd that stupid brush go? Alright. So let's see. Let's try it on a joint here. Cause you know how much I like painting these joints. Almost as much as smoking. Oh, sorry. That was a joke. Okay. What about these vents right here? So this is the contrast, huh? It's my. Alright, so we got that black right there. Oh, stupid joints. Gotta love them. Okay, can't get that one there. So you, I got a follower. Who did I get to follow me? Yeah. Oh, I thought you said somebody followed me. Oh, okay. Oh, you did? Sweet. Awesome. I got my first Patreon. Okay. Alright, so clean that back up right there. Alright, so looks a little bit better. I'm gonna go a little. Let's do the. I'm gonna show you how I do the face mask. The best stuff in the world. Ink. I love it. White ink is the bomb. We're gonna make a whitewash one day. Get it? Whitewash. I don't know where that came from though. What's the history of the whitewash, guys? So, white ink is black ink with all the black out. No, it's really just a ink medium with white pigment in it. It's all. It dries semi-gloss, and it's really smooth, even on the brush. But it shoots through an airbrush like a dream. Oh my gosh, you wouldn't know. Now it is somewhat translucent, so a couple coats would get any mistakes I made. So let's see here. Let's do that. And we're gonna go a little crazy with the gun here. So What do I want to paint that gun? I do want to paint the shoulder pad real quick. Hold on. This red. There we go. So get the red on there. See how it comes out better if we use that lighter color versus on top of the green. It really helps. Undercoats help. Oh my gosh, you wouldn't believe how undercoats help. So what? Yeah, but we'll work on undercoat test one day. So I'm gonna go. Let's see here. I think my headset disconnected. Let's make sure it didn't disconnect. No, I'm good. I think. I thought I heard somebody talking. Let's see here. What am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? Man, that's gonna look nuts. Let's do that. So, I love all colors. Just do. It's just the way I am. Part of that's being colorblind. I like bright colors. So I'm gonna do the gun in purple. Let's see how it looks straight out of the bottle. See how messed up it looks. Oh, it looks pretty good. Ah, see, that's Army Painter. So we're gonna do a little purple on the gun casing here. Just the top part and maybe the front part and maybe the back part, but not the bottom part. So, actually, hold on. Let's draw that out real quick. This silver, let's do this first. Oh, see, I'm right there. There we go. So we're gonna put this on here, like so, like we know what we're doing. Put some on the front here. Come back over here. Let's see here. It goes all the way around like that. To the back end. Well, that looks good. Okay. Now we'll start with the purple. The purple should go on the red fairly well. So this is a darker purple though, which is good. It's Alien Purple from Army Painter. Yeah, can't wait till this new stand comes. It's kind of translucent. Figured that the red wouldn't show through too much. So this model's from the Start Collecting box set for the Eldar. I bought them last August. Actually, a friend bought them for me when I went in for my surgery. It's like, here, this will give you something to do while you're recovering. And I'm still just now getting around to painting them. Sometimes I can't see what's behind me. Oh no, it's the popo. That was not a gun, guys. Some kids are shooting off fireworks. Or technically, it probably could have been a gun. But I live in the South, so it doesn't really matter. It happens all the time. Okay. So... Sweet. Well, pretty good. Just a few spots here, though. Okay, there it is. Alright. Now, actually, while I'm thinking about it, see how opaque this white is? This is that ink. So, we'll come in here and paint this with that. Try to get to it the best I can. Anything I mess up, I'll touch up, though. I didn't think about this when we were painting everything else. On there. It's your home. And we really just messed that one section up, which we can fix fairly easy. This will be our base coat of this white here. As it dries, we'll put another layer on it. Tomorrow is Thursday, my favorite day of the week. And it's only because as a kid, I enjoyed watching The Cosby Show. Oh, it's a Cosby's. Alright, let's see here. Alright. Now, if I wanted to paint yellow, what GW paint should I use as a base? First person that gets this one right, but it's got to be up here. I got to be the one that tells you if it's right or not. Because it's my preference of what I would use as a base. Wins a prize. And that prize is a thank you. Can't let you see it. This doesn't look good at all. It's Everland Sunset. You want to use Everland Sunset to base yellow with Citadel paints. It is a very opaque, it's actually a base color from Citadel, and it's a very opaque dark ochre. So we're going to use it on the tip of this right here. Okay. Here, we'll have to get up here. I have a yellow ink somewhere. I think it's in the basement. But Daniel, why do you have ink in the basement? Well, it's because I make dice. I have to have ink in it. Alright, so we'll let that dry for a second. Maybe y'all can see where I'm going with this. Let's see here. Come on now. Too much water. So we're going over the gems. These are, I remember when the original Eldars came out, they usually only had like one of these gems on their chest plate. Now they just cover every Eldar. But these are supposed to be gems. People don't treat them that way anymore. That's drying there. We come back in here, my ink, and touch up some of the spots. Huh? Ooh, big drop of water. Touch up some of these spots here on the helmet. Sorry, guys. All right, and let's see here. Let's start cleaning this up here. The cool thing about these Army Painter metallics is they go on very opaque. Now, all right, let's go back over here this real quick with a little bit more white. Okay. And let's come back over here. I need a yellow, 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 yellow. There we go. This, the only reason why I'm shaking this one up is because the nozzle is so small I can't get that stinking wire into it. This is a watercolor. Now, watercolor paints, the one coats are standard acrylics, but their other line is actually a gel-based paint. Okay. Averlin should take this really well now. It's magic. Oh, that side's not dry yet. Going to make it look crazy. That's the one thing that always attracted me to Eldar was that their paint schemes are always really bright. Okay. Alright, this is kind of messy. But it'll dry fairly thin. You know, like it tightens up when it dries, is what I'm saying. I didn't just gob it on. I mean, that's so bright, you can't even see the detail on the camera. Let's see if I shade it some. Key is just getting it smooth. I'll still have to do a second coat. Alright. Okay. bit of silver again. Fix this one spot. Okay. As that dries. Yellow. So I'm thinking about having some custom beer and whiskey glasses made. Great guy makes them. He also makes dice. So let's let this dry up a little bit. Get some Troll Lord's whiskey glasses. We only use Dr. Pepper in them. Let's see. This guy is almost tabletop ready. He's missing something. Something every Space Marine needs. Can you all guess what that is? No. Close though. Agrax Earthshade. Sorry guys, I know y'all can't hear him in my ear. Alright, so take the Agrax. This is our magic juice now. Put it on the shoulder pad. So I didn't do the backpack. I really didn't care about the backpack at the moment. Alright. Now the only problem with using the watercolor brushes is that you have to do that after you put your wash on, because it will come right off. And yes, it does tone everything down. It does kind of make it dirty, but that's what, yeah, the edge highlights. Let's see here. But here's the thing about Space Marines in 40K. It's not a happy-go-lucky universe. It's very grim and dark. Everything is a little dirty. If it's not dirty, then they're stinking Ultramarines, because they don't do anything. Once that dries, it'll give it everything that I've done a little bit more definition, and he would be tabletop ready for me. I'd throw him on the table, play with him all day long. Come on, dry! I want to see if I can do what I need to do. I need another shade. Let's put these up. I want to use this other shade. Let's see here. Clean up a little bit of my mess real quick, guys, while it dries. But Daniel, this is our time. You shouldn't have to clean up your mess. Well, guys, as an adult, if we put away the things we get out, our house stays neat and nice. That's what I tell my kids. They don't listen. Why don't you have to put it up, Dad? Well, it's because it's my house, kids. Sorry, I have everything where it goes in the place where it goes, guys. You just gotta find it sometimes. Now that sounded like a shotgun. That was a gun that went off. I will tell you that now. I wonder if y'all heard that. I don't know. Somebody's out there shooting a shotgun. is the moment when you're like, do you really want to call the police? Because I believe in the Second Amendment, but I don't want you shooting guns in my neighborhood because I live in city limits. Okay, so if this was to dry in the next 7 minutes, we have a wash. It's Casadora yellow. This is the best thing to wash yellow with. It looks great. It shows up all the definition and everything. And then the plan on after that gets washed and dry, the jewels on here are all going to be painted, not purple, but amethyst. So I have this metallic amethyst, and this is clearly like one of my favorite colors of all time. Let me get it out here. Here it is. And this was a very expensive paint. It cost me a lot, and I paid $1 for it. But it's cool. Now I want to show you this color. This is one of my favorite colors, guys. Wait a minute. Is this the right one? No, this is the midnight blue. See, I told you I'm colorblind. I wasn't paying attention. It's in here. Hold on. It just looked it. It looked it. Where's it at? No, it's nickel. This can't be missing. This is my box of acrylic art stuff. Where are you at? No. No. I'm gonna have to go buy another one. I can't find it. This is clearly like one of my favorite colors of all time. Well, this is upsetting because I knew I had it upstairs. I may have left it my supplies down in the basement. And this is literally like one of my favorite colors. Guys, I feel really bad because I wanted to show you this color. It's a metallic amethyst color. So, oh, here it is. Ah! This is when y'all are supposed to be like, ah! So, would you look at that? Look at that. That is literally the thickest paint in the world, but it is awesome. This is like the coolest metallic you will like. I mean, let's do it this way. Look at that. I love metallics, guys. You're wrong, but I mean that's just a really good color. Now I will say this is a thicker paint. Think about the deco art. This is deco art, folk art. All these guys, they use less pigment per medium. Here's a folk art metallic. I used to love this gold. So it's very dull like this, but when it dries, you can see on the edge here, right here, how metallic it is. It's sheen a little bit, but I loved it. It's a great color. You know, I think what I'll do. Here's a nickel. This is nickel. This is your lead belcher right here. So poor man's lead belcher. But there. That's why I should use instead of lead belcher. At lead belcher. This is actually looks better than lead belcher. But no, what I should do is paint a miniature with folk art paint to show you all how they work and how well they work. Okay, I think this is dry. Let's see here. Do I need to put any more on it? Yeah, I gotta put more paint on it. Dang it. We got 3 minutes. Right there. Makes me sad. Should have painted it white first. Nope. Alright. Okay. Alright. So I'll show you what this looks like though. Because I can put it on the front end of this. It's not going to bother. So this is Casador Yellow. This is a wash from Citadel. So this is the cool thing about Citadel washes. Is they do washes for things that like for their every color, not just like the browns, the blues, and the blacks, but they got reds and they've got a lot of washes. So you put that wash on right there, it's just really going to cause it to pop. Put a little bit here on the back. See how it gives you that definition? Just really makes that yellow pop. Then I can come in here if I wanted to on these gems and trace the gems with them, but I'm not going to. But yeah, hopefully I'll have this finished tomorrow. I'll post pictures on it. I'm thinking about doing all these in that amethyst color. I think that would look pretty wicked. But yeah, I like that gun. Man, that purple is really banging. Purple and yellow. I love purple and yellow. I'm such a girl when it comes to these colors. That's what my kids would say, but it's really sexist remark, so I shouldn't be saying stuff like that. But yeah, like I love colors. That's why I paint so much. Next week on this station, I am going to try my best to recreate contrast medium. So come in next week and I will show you how to make contrast medium super cheap. And if I can pull it off, I will get sued by Citadel, or they will offer me a job to shut up, or pay me to keep my trap shut, which I will take money. Not really. Contrast light medium. Here, that's the word. That's the word I should use. But yeah, guys. Next week, same back time, same back channel. I'll see you guys. Bye.